Hey guys, welcome. About to get Devon on. Hi guys. All right, and we're gonna get started here. We have some exciting things to talk about. Some really powerful things. And I'll have Devon introduce himself, and it's going to be a really interesting talk. Devon is a breatharian. He is he's the creator of Alchemy Breath, and he has been fasting, eating nothing for like a year and a half. But I wanted him to give you all the details, so I'm getting him on right now. But how's everyone doing? Hi.
Can everyone see me?
Guys, hi Chris.
Can't see her.
Happy Saturday.
Not sure what's going on.
So we are going to be talking all about breath and how powerful it can be to get to the deepest levels of our trauma, of our depression, of our anxiety. That's so interesting. I'm going to bring him on. Yeah. How we can use breath as a portal to really get to the deepest levels of our trauma, of our anxiety, of our depression, and how we can use fasting and our Kundalini energy to really come into our highest self. And over the last, wow, Chris is on this day 45 of juice. Amazing. Wow, that's incredible. I'm on day 7 of water today, and it's been quite the experience. This is the longest I've actually fasted on water, is 7 days. And I'm in it, you guys. I was in my trauma, some of the deepest trauma that I've ever seen. And I'm so grateful, because that's why I do the work, is to really tap into those spaces in myself that I've put concrete around, which I've tapped, hid very deep within myself. And so I connected with Devon the other day, and we were at this beautiful dance, and I met him, and he had been fasting, for a year and a half. And I was just so fascinated. And he's now going to be going on a 30-day dry fast. And for some reason, he's not coming on. I do not know where he is. So it was like perfect. It was like, okay, we are going powerful. Oh, there you are.
There we go.
Awesome. Devon, welcome, brother. Grand Rising.
Grand Rising to you.
Grand Rising. So I gave a brief explanation about you and what you're up to in this world. And I was just telling them how I'm on my 7th day of water fasting and how I was in my shit this morning. I was in my traumas, like some of the deepest traumas I've seen. And I'm so grateful, because I have a partner as well, that we are doing this work together. And we're divine sacred mirrors for really bringing out the parts of ourselves that need to be seen, that need to be acknowledged. Because we stay in our adolescent self, wherever we stop developing emotionally, that's where so I feel like a lot of people have stopped growing emotionally, especially in America, in, adolescence and their younger years. You see a lot of people in power right now that are stuck emotionally, and stunted in their emotional growth. And I don't know about you, but for me, water fasting and Kundalini yoga and breath work have been the most powerful tools for really tapping into the emotional body and getting deep to the deepest level of the trauma. And so I'm just grateful. I want to get moving, because I know that our time is precious, and I want to use this time as best as we can to really bring out the transmissions that are really needed, and to share this journey that I know you've been embarking on for the last year and a half, and me as well. I've been fasting for almost 16 months, and the awakening, it's been the greatest awakening of my life. And now I'm just feeling comfortable now talking about it, discussing about technology, really going out, around people, because it took that time. It took, we had to take time to really go inward,
right,
to really do the work. And now we're stepping out. We're like, okay, we're sensitive, but now we can handle being around crowds, being around in community, and really coming into our power energetically, right? So thank you for being here, Devon. Thank you for going into the sacred conversation of breath, of fasting, and really tapping into our Kundalini energy to evolve as human beings on this planet.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're up to.
So I am the pioneer of alchemy breathwork. It mixes with Bigu, which is the Chinese version of breatharianism, mixing with fasting and energy work, and a little bit of breathwork mix in there. And then I mix sacred geometry and some of Nikola Tesla's teachings on the human body, because the human body is really a technology. Every technology you see in the whole entire world is based off the human body. Even you look at Nikola Tesla's Tesla coil, it's really based off the spine. And he actually got that idea from India with the lingam. The lingam, there it is, the lingam. You go to some of those shrines and it's so, like, you can feel the energy beaming from the lingam. Like, it's so hot, they put all different types of fans, and that's only coming from a crystal, a lingam, that ancients themselves use for different types of technology and things of that nature. But we can utilize that within ourselves. All those external things are there to remind us of the power within, and the breath is the connecting string, if you will, that connects the power within, and as above, so below.
Yes. And as a Kundalini teacher, I guide my clients through awakening through their Kundalini energy to understand that it's a feminine energy within us. It's our sexual energy at the base of our spine. And it's a serpent. It's a serpent energy that comes up our spine, coils up our spine to awaken the higher centers of our brain if we learn how to tap into it. Breath, through asana, through yoga, meditation, chanting, ancient technology to awaken. And it's like this valuable knowledge has been kept from us so that we don't come into our power, so that we don't come into our own healer. And now with everything, all the structures falling and everything being known in culture, nothing can be hidden. And
I always say that one of the biggest conspiracies of them all is things that get you to breathe in a frantic manner, if you will. That is one of the biggest conspiracies, because this is truly a blood-based reality, if you will. And what moves the blood? Not the heart, it's the lungs. The lungs pump 70% of your blood anyway. So that is the main component of moving blood, moving energy in itself. And that is one of the biggest conspiracies I want to put out there.
And the fact that, everyone's going towards the plants for all the psychedelic experiences, but go into your own body. Experience the psychedelic of your lungs, of awakening your third eye, of, powerful breathing and fasting, on top of it. I've been teaching every day that I fast. And the last 2 days, I was just teaching. I couldn't do any of the postures because I was going right there so quick. It was okay, all right, I have to be focused for my students, but it's amazing how quickly you can have a spiritual experience. And that's why I created the Luna Fast, was mainly to have a spiritual experience with ourselves, to awaken that inner healer, to understand the breath and all these ancient tools that are so critical right now, even on the face of this planet, because we are with the Scorpio new moon. We are in our darkest dark right now. Like, it is all coming up as a collective, and I see it with my clients. I see it with the Luna Fasters. I see it. I'm seeing it everywhere, and I'm wondering how it's happening with you and your clients.
My clientele, like, that's why we're getting into Padai, because I think Padai is such a powerful tool to use, especially around this time. And Padai is slapping techniques with breath work and really going into the emotional body, even at a deeper level.
Wow. And
yeah, I'm definitely seeing it. Everyone is getting into the craving cycle, if you will, even though they've been on the journey for so long. Like, for some reason I've noticed the cravings are there. And I was like, there it is. That, the moon. I like how you explain how you came up with Luna Fast in itself. And yeah, the moon energy is a great time to really tap in and fast, because people don't realize, ancients knew this in themselves. Anytime you would fast during the new moon, you would feel more of that energy being resonated on the whole entire earth, and you can absorb more of that and utilize it for many different purposes, in terms of manifesting, in terms of healing, more importantly, because the more you heal, the faster you can manifest. You need the body to manifest. Stop looking on the external. When the body is aligned, magnetism, and that was the biggest, beyond Nikola Tesla's inventions. He said magnetism itself was one of the biggest things that he realized beyond his inventions, beyond anything he physically created. So he knew about energy within and utilizing it to heal and to expand and manifest.
And Nikola Tesla was such a humble man. He wasn't flaunting his technology out there. It took 100 years for it to act. I don't know how many years exactly, but it was like 50 years for his technology to finally come forefront. And it's just interesting how the patriarchy took advantage of him and put him to the side. And I find that with a lot of really true, like, gurus, that are very humble. You don't hear much about their work. And it's really powerful to finally go back into those catalogs and have a deep search into that knowledge now. And it's the wounded healer is no longer on the forefront. We have to become embodied healers. And to really get through this density that we're all feeling as a collective, we need the most powerful tools to awaken. And I've been doing Sat Kriya for 33 minutes with my clients, to really break through the trauma, because it's the collective trauma is being felt, and we have to go into our shadows. And I'm just curious, is this part of your reasoning to go on to a 30-day dry fast?
It's part of it. I've done it before, but one of the big spark for me was I was playing basketball with a friend, and I realized that, I didn't drink anything yet during the day, and it's been over 20 plus hours since I drank anything, and we were playing basketball for hours, and I realized how I wasn't dehydrated or anything. So it also reminded me, like, oh yeah, I forgot I literally can, I can go into this state if I want to. And the only different factor is I'm around more people. There was 2 years in my life where I was secluded, and I did that for doing the inner work,
Yeah.
away from society for a while, and even going back into society, like you can just feel the difference in how people are breathing, first of all, just different energies. And it took me a while to really alchemize it, if you will. And that was also one of my big reasonings to share alchemy breathwork and utilize it in everyday life. And that's what alchemy is about, turning every breath into gold instead of the metal into gold.
Mm, beautiful. I know for me, breath has been the direct line to communication with divine. And the more that we understand that, and the more that we practice it, the consistency of practicing daily, your daily sadhana is so important. Breathing every day. I know that I was caught in, I grew up with a lot of trauma, a lot of PTSD in my life. And it wasn't until I found yoga at the age of 14 and then breath work that I was really able to start, peeling off the layers of untruths and peeling off the layers of uh, of of numb. I numb myself, and I feel like we do that as a culture. We deeply numb ourselves with so many different things. Addictions to food, addictions to work, addictions to our cell phones, and it's really that deep breath work. Last night I did the ice bath,
Mm.
fasting on the 6th day, ice bath, and holotropic breath. And it was like, okay, whatever needed to come out came out. And it all came out. I felt like my demons came out as well as my angels. Like I was called to, like, just like you were fasting for 20 hours and you're like, oh, I could do this for 30 days. I on my 4th day I was like, or on my 5th day I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna go for 7. And I'm so grateful I did, because the deeper you go within your fast, you're able to really get to those places that, I don't know what else could really get to that level. Jesus and all of, Gandhi and all of these masters really went for it because they knew that they had to be able not only hold space for themselves, but for a whole world,
Mm-hmm.
for a whole,
That's one of my reasons for even getting, when I got into just going liquids um, for 2 years, 80% for 2 years. One of my reasons was I could feel how others feel around me when I do the work, and I'm on a fasted state because I'm more connected that way. And I could feel how a resonance it has on others. There was even one point I was living with a bunch of roommates, and I inspired them. I didn't have to say anything, and I just noticed them starting eating healthy. Like I didn't have to really spew anything on them. I didn't have to force anything. It just happened. I was like, oh, okay. He bought a blender. She bought a blender. I was like, all right. I see what's going on here, man. Like I really am having an impact here. And that was really one of my reasons for doing it, because, if you look at if you look at the Bible, if you look at different ancient texts, they practiced fasting and they knew the energy behind it. But beyond fasting, we're also implementing energy work, which is truly important in terms of emotional exercise, because some people may look at people with eating disorders, bulimia, and many
right.
different things, and those eating disorders have more to do with the mental disorders than the physical, really, because
100%.
yeah, people don't have that healing connection with their bodies at all when it comes to, oh, I'm fat, I'm this way, I'm that way. That's not healthy at all going into any type of fast. So you need to develop a beautiful relationship with food itself. And for me, I developed that relationship when I lived in Cali. Like I went to even just going vegan itself, even before going into Cali. When I went vegan, it was more for the sentient beings that are, and yes, plants are alive, and the difference is when we eat the plants, when it's plant-based, we synthesize with it versus the meat. So we actually synthesize with plants versus meat. And when you're synthesizing with something, it's becoming literally part of your quote unquote DNA. It's restructuring your DNA. That's why it's so healing, especially going raw. It is so, so healing. And that helped me, you know, knowing that, that helped me going into veganism at that point in time. And I went to so many different gourmet vegan restaurants when I used to live in Cali. And I had my fun with food in that sense. And I had, you know, Cali, if I were to really ever chew again, it would be this one spot in California. And the reasoning behind it as well, it's called, I think it's called Happy Vegan. And this is Japanese couple, and they have such a humbling background to creating their restaurant. And the husband is doing the cooking. The wife, she does the serving, and she makes raw desserts and stuff. But you can just tell the energy as soon as you walk into the restaurant, how much love and intention is in. They're literally smiling like it's their job, like literally hold a smile like it's a meditation. And I don't know which specific practice this is in Japan, but it was something that they really embodied, really going back to embodiment. They were living that, you know, and they were for the animals. They even donated some of their profits towards non-profits for saving animals and things of that nature.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I was talking to my friend Michael Capone, and we were talking about how we are in the age of false prophets, and that we need to embody our energy and our healer. We have to embody that healer within and that power, because, you know, you can't fake energy. You can't fake your vibration.
The breath doesn't lie.
The breath doesn't lie, you know, and as a collective, we're under a lot of fear. We're in a very fear-based society. We need to shut off our televisions. We need to feed our brain nature and breath, and take time away from food to really look at the parts of ourselves that are you know, that are creating these unconscious programs that are either creating self-sabotage, low vibration, toxicity in our environment and energetically. We really need to take responsibility of our vibration. And I know that's one of the biggest reasons why I came into this, because I want to, how can I really hold space for my clients and the collective if I'm still in my wounded child or in my wounded self? There's no possible way. You know, no possible way. And I'm looking at our politicians, and I'm looking at all of these infants and adolescents running running the show. And, you know, it's only a matter of time before these structures come down and for the light to take front and center. And that is what's happening, because people are changing their media channels. And really, like today, you know, this is television right now, that we are broadcasting a powerful message. And thank you for doing the work, Devon, and bringing your magic, right? I would love to do a little bit of your breath work, if you would like to teach us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so we can do some threes with some regulars. The main locks in alchemy is your eyes, gazing up at your third eye, creating that pressure point in the center of your head. And with the center of this head, you can look at the face and literally direct them to many different parts of organs within our body. But something about the center of this head of ours is not connected to any organ at all. It's connected to the pineal gland that sits in the center of our head. And when you're creating pressure in that point in time, you're also creating a pressure in the ethers, if you will, in the infinite that is. And what that does, you know, we know that the electromagnetic spectrum is real. So we can now acknowledge that we do have a quote unquote aura. And I even say that we're actually in the spirit is actually in the body. I mean, no, the body is actually in the spirit, rather than the spirit is in the body. If we know that the electromagnetic spectrum literally extends inside and out, literally. So nothing is truly still in that to the naked eye, it may be still, but everything is moving in motion, energy in motion. So that's one of the locks you want to do and engage the cerebral cortex, and that helps with headaches as well. Just doing that to sleep is really powerful. Alchemy is also utilizing it in everyday life. So with the tongue, this is the tongue, and then you want to flip the tongue on the roof of the mouth. You want to hold it there the whole time, and that helps clear off the monkey mind. It's really great to create more bile to help digestive enzymes into the stomach. People don't realize that your mouth is the first stomach, so keep that in mind. I want everyone to squeeze the pelvic floor only on the exhales that we do, and that's it. All right, so those are the main locks. Only squeeze everything you literally use the bathroom with, only on the exhales. All
I'm
right.
feeling called to create a sacred space here and just tune in and call in the angels, call in the master teachers, call in the divine energies that really guide us and protect us, and just create a sacred space here with you all to have this beautiful breath practice with Devon and really go deep. So I'd like to just bring our hands together, activate the left and right side of our brain, our feminine and our masculine energy. And now draw your thumbs into your heart and take a nice deep breath here. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale to Om. Inhale. Satnam, Namaste. Oh. And may this breath work bring peace and calmness to everyone. And I'm so excited because a lot of the technology that you're talking about is what we use in Kundalini as well. So, and the gazing up the eye, the tongue to the roof of the mouth, that takes you right in.
Right. Breathing exercises in itself is really an inner body experience rather than an outer body experience.
So take over, Don. Show us a little bit about what you teach.
All right. We're going to have our eyes gazing, tongue on the roof. Every exhale, squeeze the pelvic floor, and we're going to have that inhale. And then we're going to exhale 3. Inhale. Exhale 3. Inhale. Exhale 3. Inhale. Exhale 3. Inhale. Exhale 3. Let's go. regulate the breath where you can't hear the breath. Inhales, exhale only with the nose. Still squeeze that pelvic floor, eyes still gazing. Tongue on the roof. Really stretch that tongue. Swallow if you haven't. All right, round 2. Let's go. Regulate the breath where you can't hear the breath. Deep inhales, deep exhale. Thank you all for sharing the breath.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Thank you for going deep into your practice and sharing that breath.
Thank you all.
I'm like, my whole body is vibrating right now.
So when you're doing that as well, you're creating muscle fibers. When you're only utilizing the nose, you're creating a muscle fibers within the nasal passage, especially the sinuses as well. People don't realize the sinuses, it literally extends to like the eye sockets of your eyes. And when you do that breath work and then you're breathing normally afterwards, the normal breaths will literally follow the path that you created within your sinuses. And it's a nice ripple effect into the day rather than a spikeage. You know, there's a nice ripple into the day, especially only utilizing the nose.
And so when did you tap into this powerful download, this breath?
So it started 6 years ago, starting with the whole Cali experience. So I lost everything to a business partner, and I went into a downward spiral. And I was passing around into Chinatown. They had a Bigu seminar, and I pulled the person who was giving the seminar to the side, and I asked, "Oh, how long you're staying here? I would love to learn some more under you." And I realized how breath is really powerful. And I spent a couple months under him, and he literally had me fast for 2 weeks on smoothies, liquids, just liquids only, before our first 2-hour breathwork session, which I cried, I laughed. And that was my big epiphany to how ignorant I was in terms of my life. And the breath was definitely part of that ignorance. Finding the root cause of the ignorance was the breath. And I realized if I was paying way more attention to the breath when I went to a downward spiral with my business partner, I could have known when to pull out and do different things of that nature at the time, because the breath is really the inspiration to our thought process. How you breathe is literally how you think. Mm-hmm. So the more alkaline you breathe, the more alkaline thoughts you have. And going back into this blood-based reality that we live in, breath is the primary tool. I'm going to say that one more time. I'm going to say that 2 more times. Breath is the primary tool to regulate the blood pH levels. Again, breath is the primary tool to regulate the pH levels. Everything else is secondary. Breath is primary. So knowing that, we can regulate different parts of our body to come into balance and heal a lot faster than the average human being, and alchemize a lot faster than the average human being, and become embodiments of the gifts that we've been given.
Amen, brother. You're speaking my language. You know, I was in the Western medicine sector for 13 years of my life.
Please.
And you know, and when I got my yoga teacher training, that was one of the proudest moments in my life, above any bachelor's or master's or anything in my life, because I finally found the true tools to healing. And from that moment, that I really understood the breath and the awakening. I mean, I literally had exorcisms in my Kundalini training where I had to release, and in front of like a whole room of people, just from breath, just from my breath, without breathing, we're not able to survive. So, breath, it controls our automatic and all of our systems. So, that's why chanting mantra is so powerful, because the breath with the vibration, we can reprogram our whole entire system, our whole entire body with chanting, with breath. And the fact that this isn't the forefront of medicine is ridiculous, because it's like, this is our temple. If we don't know how to understand the technology of breath, of movement, of unlocking the blocks and opening up our chakras, then we're not getting real true knowledge to healing and awakening. And so when I became a teacher, that's when I realized that I had to, go in an opposite direction, and really, well, not opposite direction, because I'm really grateful for my education. It allows me to hold space for my clients to get off medications, to get off all the chemicals, to heal the autoimmunity, to get off, prednisone, blood pressure medication, diabetic medication, medications, and then using the power of fasting, of breath, of diet, of fruit to reprogram our whole entire system. And so now, it took some time, to catch up, right? Because, I really went into it wanting to heal. But when I realized that the tools that they gave me are not healing. And,
right.
And then,
it's a cover up and treat, not actually deal with the direct problem.
And then when my mother was dying and nobody could help me, no doctor could help us, I had to really step into my power and understand that we have all of it within. And luckily, I was able to do the deep, deep trauma work with my family so that we could be on this planet, because I don't think we would have been able to survive the trauma. And my mom's been living with HIV for 36 years. She caught it in a blood transfusion, and it has brought immense trauma into my family. And I'm not the only one. What about families with cancer, with autoimmune disease, with addiction? And my father, he passed of addiction when I was 20. So I had to deal with a lot of trauma at a very young age. And I was convinced that Western medicine would lead me there. And I'm so glad that I became a nurse practitioner and limited my education to just that, to that amount of time, because I'm now learning from nature, learning from my body, learning. All the wisdom is within us. We are creators, and this is the greatest time on the planet to be alive, because we have all the most powerful tools to transform and to really dig deep within ourselves and break the karma of our ancestry of thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And so I am committed now to natural holistic healing, but also, that education, I'm so grateful for it, because if I didn't understand the 3D, I couldn't be standing really as powerful I am in the 5D.
5D, yep.
to help my clients come out of that 3D, that, you know, and embark on the 5D, where, you know, fasting allows you to come into your sattvic state, your angelic state, right? And to really have that lightness and ease where we don't feel the body. Disease is not part of my system anymore. You know, I'm still dealing with trauma of the emotions. That's been the most difficult one for me. But I have a strict practice that has really allowed me to, well, not strict because I love it and I need it. And that's why I have my clients and all of the things to keep me on this path, you know, because as much as I do, you know, teach, I learn. And I'm just so grateful because that's true. That's why we're here, right? That's why we're here, is to have that experience with each other, to rise together. And with LunaFast, you know, we fast together as a community because we're not supposed to be doing this sacred work alone. Right. We are tribal creatures, you know, we need each other. You know, I had to have solidarity. I had to go in, you know, into myself alone though, to really go deep into my shadows.
Same here, yeah.
But, you know, once you get past that trauma, you're able to really start holding space for others. Right. And I don't know about you, but like once you step into that, you know, the people that are supposed to come for your wisdom and heal just appear, you know, like there's no promotion in healing. You know what I mean?
The energy will literally speak for itself. And even before I came back to social media, I was helping so many people off social media. And my first event, the monk pulled me to the side. He was like, this is really powerful. You know, you need to start sharing this more, like do something more, because he also told me the story of how China is coming into the Himalayas and trying to take some land, and it's pushing monks out into different parts of the world. And the head of certain tribes will say, it's time to share, it's time to do it's time to give in that sense. And that's what the earth is really, really calling for. And it's a beautiful time to utilize technology in a different way, instead of harmful, in a sense. You know, someone was telling me like, oh, the Bluetooth headphones, 5G. Well, little do people know, as long as you're grounding enough, your voltage in the body goes up, where it's blocking 5G radiation, it's blocking any type of EMF radiation. And what does that tell you? Natural law, nothing is above natural law. Natural law will always win. Always. And deep down, when someone comes in contact with you, they will say, oh, something about your spirit and demeanor, and something about your spirit just glows. And deep down, their spirit within, they want to feel what you're feeling. And that's why I always say, you know, when AI becomes so high tech, wherever it goes, it's going to get to the point where it wants to breathe like us, where it wants to meditate like us, where it wants to have psychedelic experiences with the breath. It wants to literally breathe. It will come to that point, and that's where it's just going to do whatever it wants to itself. But the natural AI is calling for that in terms of healing, and it will literally speak to each and every one of us. We just have to open up the hearts that we all have and take control of the gifts that we've been given.
And I'm so grateful because we, like you said, we are the masters and creators of our universe, right? So we're capable of transcending anything, right? When we limit ourselves to thinking that 5G is like keeping us sick, we are creating that story for ourselves and keeping ourselves disempowered. And through Kundalini Yoga, there are so many powerful meditations that charge up the electromagnetic field of the brain.
I did a test where I had this EMF reader, and I did like about 1 to 2 hours of breath work, and we literally saw the difference, how the EMF from my body went all the way to almost zero when I was holding like my laptop or whatever, and you could easily see the difference doing that. So that goes to show you how electric we really are in that sense.
And you need a sattvic body to handle the 5G and all of these things, because
Right.
it will, if you're dense, the 5G is definitely going to disrupt your day
and
your life.
I was watching a documentary on Vice of how some people are afraid of 5G and stuff of that nature. No one in the documentary is talking about different types of healing, and the guy who is a spokesperson for against 5G and all that, he's walking around not barefoot. He doesn't say anything about that. He's wearing sunglasses, which blocks out melatonin and messes up with the receptors. Like, come on, you know, the less dense you are, the more you're aware of how powerful you are. You know, even if I have this, even if I didn't have the pyramid, like I already know, even before I got the pyramid, going into that, I was already meditating with a pyramid in my mind's eye around me. And then it physically came to be. So, yeah, I was already doing that. So these external things are here to remind us of how powerful the internal body and the sacred geometry within can really, really protect us and make us more.
Ooh. I didn't get the last part that you were saying. Make us more.
Oh, I was saying that all these external things are here to remind us of the internal technology that we have inside.
Yeah. And it's so interesting because, you know, America is full of distractions for a reason. Mm-hmm. You know, the lands were based on a lot of war and bloodshed and a takeout of Mother Nature and our disconnection to our truest self, our Sat Nam. And we're coming back to understanding the trauma of these lands. And, you know, we are all starting, I think, you know, in our community, in our tribe in Miami, we're all starting to realize how crucial it is for us. It's our responsibility to shine. You know, it's our responsibility to get out of our own way now, because this is the time, you know, with everything going on. It's like, you know, even when I was in Tulum for the last month, I mean, I understood what 5G was doing to our crown chakras. It is, sorry. When you're not in the 5G literally can take out your crown chakra. And I really felt that when I was in the jungle energy for about a month. I was able to release a lot of trauma by being in the nature and doing the temescal and really going back to the ancient ways of being, because we really need to bring this ancient technology back, to come back into that sattvic angelic state so that we can all rise together. And we are a family. You know, we came back to this planet for a reason and a mission. And we are here, Devon and I are here to hold space for you, to heal, to unravel the dis-ease in your body, and to really come into your truth. And that's why we do this work, is because I know for me, I have, you know, seen a lot of untruth through my education. I mean, I studied at Columbia, I studied at NYU, I've studied all around the world with some of the greatest healers, and worked with some doctors that were healing people of HIV and cancer, you know, that were being watched by the FBI because they didn't want them to bring out, you know, stem cell therapies and ozone therapies that can really deeply heal. But really, you don't need any of that. You can use your breath and fasting, and the power of the sun and the elements within us, and even bring it to even a more simplistic place. You know, I was on the plant medicine journey for a very long time as well. And now I call, you know, fasting is like my water ayahuasca, because, you know, once you understand the power within you, you really don't need anything from your exterior any longer, you know. And I'm glad that I had the experience with ayahuasca 30 sometimes, and I'm glad that I sat with mushrooms, 50 times, like I'm glad that
Yeah,
I had these
I had
experiences,
those. Yeah, I will say that.
to get to this space, because it was, connecting back to nature and connecting back to that truth is why we are here. And we need to release these cultural bondages and cords and ways of being that are not going to allow us to rise right together. So I don't know how long we can go on here for Unti.
I think we still got time.
You want to go to 12, 12, 12 or 12, 12?
Okay, yeah. Let's
11,
actually go to
11
12,
to
12,
12,
12.
12?
Yeah, let's do that. So, touching back on plant medicine, I was speaking to someone who does ceremonies and stuff of that nature, and we were speaking about ayahuasca, how it brings you to a certain vibration, and that's why some people will throw up, because anything internally will release. Well, when he said that, it clicked in my head too, because I've had clients that will end up throwing up after or like during the breath work, and that brought me like, okay, well, the breath is literally doing the same thing to a certain extent of energy, where it is releasing and getting that person to quote unquote throw up, or releasing that baggage of trauma. Because I believe also throwing up helps you release a certain toxicity in the body as well. But looking at ayahuasca itself, what is it doing? It is literally getting you to throw up so you can feel that full breath. That's literally what it's getting you to do. And all these plant medicines are there to remind us of how powerful the breath is in itself. The last time I did shrooms a couple of years ago was when I did like 5 grams. I fasted for a couple of days, and then I did a tea, and it was all ceremonial as well, which was really, really beautiful. But I replicated how I was breathing during that time of ceremony, and it wasn't as quote unquote psychedelic in terms of the images, but feeling wise, it definitely was. And that's what many people will go outside themselves. Oh, I want to see visuals. I want to have that trip. I want to do that. Well, that will all come easily the more you heal in that aspect, because I've had some really psychedelic dreams in that aspect, being on this journey just off breath work itself. And you can dive in so deep with breath work. And I met this gentleman, and he said he's done ayahuasca, he does San Pedro, he did all the psychedelic medicines, but nothing compares to 3 hours of breath work. Nothing compares to it. So hearing that from him, I was like, okay. And that was also reassurance that, all right, maybe I don't, at the time too, I was looking into really going out of my way to do ayahuasca at the time. But yeah, I really don't need it at this point in time.
Yeah. Oh, brother, that's powerful. Like when you're able to raise your vibration to the point where you don't need anything, I feel that's a space of deep healing and mastery over your temple. And that's why I've committed to water fasting 16 months, because I needed to go deep within myself. And I was taking care of my mother, who was dying on the verge of death for 5 years. So I had to not only hold space for that, and now she's, the HIV is undetectable in her blood, and it through breath, through fasting, through plant-based eating, you can heal anything. And they don't want you to know that. They don't want you, the resistance doesn't want you to know your power. They don't want you to understand that you are capable of some of the most powerful creations on this planet. And it's time. It's time to say yes to committing ourselves to our mission. And I'm just so grateful that I'm surrounded by so many amazing, beautiful people here in Miami. And if you live in the Miami area, if you live in Florida, or even globally, that's why we started the Luna Fast, because we are able to connect and heal together. And on the ripple effects that we're able to create on this planet are astounding. right? So, oh, who is the resistance? The resistance is within us. It's a part of us. And in the Jewish culture, they say that we have a resistance that wants to, sabotage us. And that's why our sadhana, our spiritual practice, is so, so, so important every day. Because, before I really got deeply into breath work, I had to do the plants to start, getting in a rhythm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the consistency of your practice, right? It takes to do plant medicine, I think, is easier than to sit down and breath and movement practice for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a day, So, right. Yeah. Yeah. It's harder to do at first, but then once you're once you get to a space where you're like, I can't tolerate lower vibrations. I can't tolerate feeling bad or unhealthy or in disease. Why would we want to sabotage yourself? I don't know. You have to ask yourself that. That's a question that you need to ask yourself.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's your own spiritual journey, and for something you need to discover within yourself.
Right, and that goes back into what we were saying about mental. It's a mental disorder too when it comes to quote unquote eating disorders. This is way more different than any of that, because you're literally going into the emotional side, which is a mental as well, and literally giving it some exercise. Literally, you're not letting your emotions dictate the way you breathe. Like I always say, external forces will rule the way you breathe until you rule the way you breathe.
I love that. And when we rule the way when we create our own vibration through our breath, wow, like that's the ripple effect that is, it only takes about 2% of the planet to realize that, to create a total shift and awakening of the planet. So it's been such an honor to talk with you and to have these transmissions. And I can't wait to practice with you breath. I can't wait to maybe collaborate, do a breath and
after you come back from Tulum, I'm open. I'm wide open to collaborate.
Amazing. I would love to create some really mystical experiences for people to get out of their mind into their heart and into that highest vibration. And I have a question here. Did your mother use Dr. Sebi's program? Yes. Dr. Sebi came into my life when my mother was dying. I was looking for ever since I was 8 years old, I wanted to heal my mom of HIV. It's been my driving force and catalyst for being on this planet. And so Dr. Sebi came into my life at a very powerful time. And I used his program, and that's when using the herbs and the power of Kundalini to raise our familial vibration, and that's
the energy work literally amplifies any healthier diet. Literally, it amplifies, and that's what many of these new diets are missing, because people don't have that emotional exercise. That's where we come in to really step it up a notch, where you can fight cravings and you don't give into it anymore because you don't know how to deal with it at certain points. So that's where the Kundalini, that's where the breath work really, really plays a powerful ripple effect into your life.
Yeah, and we were doing the 4 a.m., I've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of 4 a.m. sadhana, to really reprogram my vibration out of this familial karma, not only my mother, my sister, and my whole family. And now if my dad was alive, I would have the treatment plan for him, to fight that addiction, which
as soon as you wake up, the mind is at an all-time theta rate. So that is the best time to do breath work, do the cold plunge. I remember when I lived in Jersey, how I made peace with the cold was as soon as I woke up, I would go outside, literally half naked, barefoot, walk around my block a couple of times until the neighbors started to realize, oh, he lives here. Okay, fine. But literally do that. Literally as soon as you wake up, just go into the cold.
I did that the other day. Yeah, I did that today, and I did that the other day, yesterday and today. After we had that talk, I was like, okay, because I live on such a beautiful area. So I just got up and I started walking. And that was huge because it's like once we get out of our mind, once we disconnect from the mind and really tune into our heart, to nature, to our breath, I mean, it's a rebirth. Every day can be a rebirth. And that's why my clients, you know, that's why we're here, you know, to rebirth together, because it's not only me, it's or not only them, it's me, it's us together, you know. So I'm just grateful to be able to have these tools and to finally get out of, you know, the years and years and years of trauma that my family and I have had to incur. So, and I'm sure I would love to learn more about why you really got into that. I think that's another conversation. What really brought you into that space? I mean, I guess it's still going. 11/11 to 12/12. It's still live.
It never gave. It doesn't show the timer yet on the live.
No, it just says 12/12 right now. So.
Oh, okay. Then, yeah, we still got time. How I got into it? Well.
Yeah, I would love to understand, like, what was the driving force? What was the, you know, the catalyst for you to not eat for a year and a half? You know, it must take something really deep.
So, start with the vegan journey at that point. So growing up, I lived in a Jamaican household with heart disease in our family. Actually, that's a big thing. And growing up, I really wanted to really change that. And before I changed that, I never had a burger in a Jamaican household. Everything was home-based meal, and things of that nature. And I finally did that, going outside the family, and went to different restaurants. And then one day, I literally woke up with this rash all over my body, and I knew for a fact it was definitely coming from the meat. And that's when I took the time and I shifted right into vegetarian. Then I went vegan, and doing that, I could see how my family didn't resonate with it as much because until later on. But the fact that they didn't resonate with it really showed me the deep traumas that the whole world really is embodying. And that's what really pushed me into getting onto lighter diets in that sense. And going on liquids, the more I did the breath work itself, the more I could feel the density of solid foods. And then I went 80% for 2 years. And then it's been over a year and a half now, over 400 plus days. I've been mostly on liquids, 100% liquids. And it was definitely one point before I went 100%. There was one point where I woke up and I had a peanut butter smoothie last night, the day before, and waking up, I could feel the oils and the oils in the smoothie of the peanuts. And when I could feel that, I knew for a fact, I was like, man, the density is real. The density is really real. And that's what propelled me to literally go 100% and go on lighter liquids in that sense. So it's 90% coconut water that I've been on. Orange and mint is one of my favorites to juice, and activated charcoal as well, which I'm going to go to the Coconut Grove and get some afterwards. But going into the 30-day dry fast, I definitely want to bring a powerful energy into my birthday. So that was also the driving catalyst. And I think I might even write my 5th book going into that fast.
Wow. When is your birthday?
January 6th.
Amazing. So you're going to start January 6th? Or you like?
No, I'm going to start December 6th.
December 6th. Okay. Yeah. And do you have anyone joining you on this dry fast?
Oh, no one's joining me on the dry fast, but everyone in my members group, they've been empowered to go on liquids for X amount of time. So they're mostly going on liquids, or some in the group are going on mostly raw, but 90% of the group is going on liquids. Following me.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, I've been
Yeah,
called
and
to do a
and
40
in these
day
in these 30
fast,
days, I'm gonna
but
make.
not dry fast.
Oh,
Dry
oh,
fasting,
you lied there, but go ahead.
dry fasting is another level of mastery. I mean, when I dry fast, I literally am talking to the angels. I'm so connected. I'm literally like, just put me on
And
the beach and
I
I'm
say,
just fine for the whole day, breathing,
yeah,
and
I
in the
say dry
water,
fast
like nothing
because
else.
yeah, I say dry fast because everyone is more familiar with dry fast, just that term. But
Yeah.
breatharianism itself is a lot different. You know, it's utilizing the energy for sustenance, if you will, and that's what Bigu is all about. Bigu is not directly made to turn everyone into quote unquote breatharian. It's mainly to feel, and the more you can feel, the more you can heal, and the more you can dictate where you want to go with the energy and that aspect. And that's what Bigu really taught me, and that's how I implement it into creating alchemy in that sense.
Um, Somebody asked, what is dry fasting? You want to talk about that?
So
Or
dry fasting,
yeah.
yeah, dry fasting is literally no food, no water, literally completely dry, uh, sustaining from literally different life sources such as the breath, sunlight. I love Miami here. Even if I was in the cold, I would have adapted easily because I actually did it in the cold once. That was actually the first time I did 30 days dry once in the cold. And I did a lot of darkroom therapy in that point in time. That was when I was really secluded from society at that point in my life. But darkroom therapy is really powerful and really brings you back into that womb. I would love to host my own darkroom therapy one day around here because they don't have too many in the U.S. at all. You have to go outside the U.S. and go to different temples and places of that nature.
Wow. I mean, I can't even imagine, like when you said 30 days of dry fasting, like my jaw dropped because like just one day of dry fasting after, 4 days of, or 3 days of water fasting, which I usually do a day of dry, 24 hours is like, is a difficult, is very difficult. And, you're not going to be doing a complete dry. You're going to continue bathing and showering and all of that, right?
From time to time, maybe. I don't know. Most likely.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So you can have a complete dry. A complete dry fast is when you don't shower, you don't brush your teeth, you don't bring any other waters or substances on your body or in your body for a certain period of time. So yeah, I hope that
if you
you
think about
document
it,
this.
regardless, especially here in Miami, you can feel the humidity. The water is in the air, so the skin is already taking it in.
True.
Yeah, so I do want to say that in terms of, going back into the organs, one thing I did realize, going deep into breath, like I can be still and I can feel how my body feels of that sense. And when I was completely dry as well, you start to notice that your organs actually produce water themselves. Many people don't realize that, but your organs literally produce water themselves. And that is what you are feeding
Of
off,
course they do.
going back and forth, cycling in and out.
So what do you do for protein? When anybody brings up protein, I'm like,
I love it.
I laugh
I love it.
now.
I love it because
it too.
Because science is literally proving now that cells really don't feed off food.
Right. You're breaking up.
Science is literally proving at this point.
And, just breathing in, you're breathing in consciousness, the prana of the air, the vibration.
And I do want to say, even being on liquids for so long, I'm still growing in mass. And I even started working out even more now because I'm growing in mass. So I'm like, why not work out more?
How often do you urinate when you dry fast?
How
Nick is
often
asking.
how often do I urinate?
Yeah.
Not as much. Like I'll urinate. It'll stop after around day 4, day 5. Like it'll stop around there.
And then do you continue taking bowel movements? Do you continue?
No, no,
You stop. So
no.
you stop
Yeah,
all that functioning.
you stop,
Okay.
and you can utilize all that energy that you would be taking for bowel movements and recycling it into different things of that nature in terms of working out, maybe more breath work of really moving the energy and really feeling your body at rest. And when the body's at rest in certain points, especially digestion, you can use all that energy that is stored. That's why it's called stomach. If you look at the etymology of stomach, storage of energy. And when we eat, we get in the way of that energy.
I love it. Oh my God, I could go on and on and on because I feel like we have so much wisdom to share between each other, you know, because we've both been really diving deep into the mystical knowledge. And thank you so much for all that you are, you know, resonating into the world and teaching, because we really need embodied teachers, embodied masters on this planet to go forward. And so I really encourage you all to sit in your practice every day, connect with your heart, connect with your breath, and really listen to that inner voice, that inner, and that your soul to really come forth to bring your gifts, because the time is now. And I'm just grateful now that I can go out into crowds and be around people during this time,
Yeah.
you know, because it was a dark journey of the soul to get here. And so thank you, brother, for doing the dark journey of the soul, you know, the hero's journey, to now help others awaken, because that's why we're here. Do you have anything else that you'd like to share? Any way that we can support you?
Yeah,
on
if
your
you're
mission?
in Miami tomorrow, I'll be hosting 10 plus sound healers all at once. We're going to start off with alchemy breathwork. Then it's going to be a massive sound bath afterwards. So I'd love, if anyone is in Miami, definitely come. If you're not, I will be definitely live streaming on YouTube, Devon the Black Airbender on YouTube. And yeah, you can come check me out on Instagram as well, the Black Airbender, in that sense. And in my members group, I'm going to be doing a 30-day challenge with the breath work. It'll probably be around 3 a.m. Every day for 30 days going into my birthday. And yeah, that's going to be electric.
You're speaking my language. 3 a.m. too. Wow. That's beautiful. Will is this Christina's event? Is that tomorrow, Christina? Is that through Christina?
Christina.
Who's running the event tomorrow? Is that tomorrow that's happening, or is that the event that you're going to be in tomorrow? Oh. Hello? Hey, can you hear me now?
Say that one more time.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Well, maybe that's a time to close. Can you hear me? Yeah.
I can hear. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me. So is that Christina's event? Christina, she creates the immersions, or is this, who is this event being?
No. Yeah, this is completely different. This is going to happen around 7 p.m.
Oh, 7 p.m. Okay. And where is it specifically?
It's in Coral Gables at Flow Studios.
Can we get details?
Yeah,
okay,
the link
Coral
is really
Gables
in my bio.
Studios. In your bio. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, I would love to join you tomorrow.
Yeah, you're definitely going to feel it. Being on water, you are definitely going to feel it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
yeah, I mean, this is
in sound healing,
sacred practices.
Yeah, in sound healing, when you go for certifications and you go, I think it's level 2 or level 3, they'll tell you that you want to have your clients on liquids if they want the deepest healing. So water is memory, water is a technology, and the sound literally harmonizes with that liquid state of being that you are. So that was my epiphany to diving even deeper into breath, doing breath work while listening to sound bowls, being on liquids for so long.
So everyone tomorrow come fasted. We're gonna have a psychedelic journey with Devon and amazing group of healers. Well, I mean, fasting is you shouldn't eat two hours before yoga or breath work. So that to have the best experience, I don't recommend my clients eat before any type of breath work or yoga. Yeah, no, that's critical. You need to be an empty vessel to really take in the vibration. So I'm excited. I'm so happy. Thank you, Devon, for really all of your gifts and your powerful insight. And I can't wait to create with you and to learn more about your journey and support you on your 30-day dry fast. Have an amazing, amazing rest of your day, and check him out. Go follow him right now. Learn from this man. He has such wisdom and knowledge, and it's time that we break out of our limited ways of being and really connect to our spiritual selves, because that's who we truly are, our spirit in motion. And so I love you guys. Thank you for joining. It's been an amazing hour, almost hour and a half. Wow. Have an incredible day, you guys, and I'll see you soon.
Peace.
Peace. Love.
Wholeness. I'm just coming out of a session with Devon, and it was very powerful. Wow. I could definitely feel the vibrations to my body, because when you reach certain level of oxygenation in your body, then you start to feel the vibrations. Literally your body starts to vibrate and you feel alive. You feel that energy going through all your body. You feel the warmth. It's so powerful. I just woke up and I'm like full of energy, feel so awake and so alive. I recommend everybody just do the sessions that Devon offers. It's truly amazing. Wholeness.